This is a lock, and this is a Cyberman, and they have absolutely nothing to do with handcuffs. But on this episode of Off the Cuff, I wanted to put those two words together to show you something I got from the Earl Lockman collection. Now that went up for auction about 5 years ago at Morphy's Auction in Denver, PA, right down the road from here. And I actually was one of the people that helped identify and write up different things for the auction catalog. This one. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford much from the auction, but I did get one thing. Actually, I got two things. I got a padlock. Well, it's a spring wedge lock. And I got something else, which I really didn't even get a chance to check out before the auction went off. And it had this tag in it on the back of a business card. And it was on one of his boards. When I saw the collection, a lot of the stuff was still on the boards. And then when they took them off, they messed a lot of things up. You know what I mean? They like put the wrong tag with the wrong cuff and things like that. But I was lucky enough to get a set of the padlock boards, but much later. And you'll see them at the end of the video. So anyway, I bought what I thought were leg irons because this occurred during the Lancaster Lock Show. And this is them. Now, this is really strange. I'll show you why in a second, okay? Because it said early slave ship leg irons, right? So that's what you think these are. But the size is phenomenal, and it's way too big for legs. Now, there's no maker's marks on these whatsoever, but they do have age to them. You can tell by the chain, the ring, the clevis, and they don't have a mechanism. They would take a padlock like that. Now, here's the problem. The only part of the leg they fit over is above the knee, and you can shimmy right out of them. And yeah, I'm wearing Doctor Who socks. So I have a theory, and I might be wrong, but if these were from, say, a ship, possibly one headed for Australia, maybe, sometimes they would put restraints around the prisoner's neck and link him to the one in front of him. And of course, with the round ring, you could always thread a chain through there or thread some cuffs through or whatever other kind of restraints you needed. And you could have a couple of people going, walking onto the ship itself. But I mean, look at the size of these things. I'm not going to lock it around my neck, by the way. I'll do it from this way. Ow. And then that will go through there. And the padlock would, secure it like that. So you can see it does fit around the neck. Hello. Which makes me think that maybe these are neck irons, neck collars on a chain gang neck restraints, chain gang neck collars. And like I said, there's absolutely no markings on these whatsoever. But they are, 19th century, maybe even early 19th century. This reminds me kind of, the clevis kind of looks like the Delastasius or the Rankins or, countless other cuffs. They open up kind of like what they used on the Australian convict ships. So, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking these might just be for the neck. To keep two prisoners together. Maybe even they would hammer this into a wall. Or, for sleeping or whatever. It's like how they would use the bilbos, with a big long sliding bar, just like in Papillon. Remember that movie? Maybe this was something similar. Maybe this was used to get two people together, maybe when they were working out in the fields on a chain gang, just assuming it was Australia, building roads or whatever. But that's all I know about them, is that they were owned by Lockman, and they were in his collection. Now I'm happy to have them in mine, but they're really unusual, and I thought you might like to see them. And I'm also hoping that maybe you might have something similar size-wise and could, shed some light on these things. So since there's not much to say about these restraints, these particular cuffs, I thought I would fill in the end of the video with some of the highlights from the Lockman collection. You're going to see some stuff about Earl Lockman himself. He was a great escape artist in the early part of the 20th century. He did a lot of lectures, and he had one hell of a collection. Yes, he did. And now a lot of other people have bits and pieces of it. If you look in one of my previous videos, the Sicko Hickos, those were a pair of cuffs that I got from that collection too, from that auction. John Bushy had them and then passed them on to me years ago, and they're really, really cool. So yeah, check that video out and stick around for a little bit of information on Earl Lockman. Now, I have a bunch of stuff about him in magazines, you know, magic magazines and trade, you know, things like that. But instead of going through all that, I'm just going to show you some of the highlights of his career that I put together for the auction catalog. So just in case you missed the auction and don't have a catalog or whatever, you can see some of the interesting history of Earl Lockman. As you can see, Toby is more than thrilled. Try and contain your excitement. So, like always, I hope you guys are staying safe out there. Don't forget to check out my merch site, and if you haven't already, please click subscribe. Get all your friends to click subscribe. All right, everybody, we will see you again next time.